And welcome to this episode of Primility Primer, our morning reminder of the power of balancing pride and humility as we go about our daily lives. This is episode number 21. I am your host, Jared Morris. And today I want to tell you a story of basically something that I've been going through over the past 72 hours. I say going through. It's not really something to go through. It's just been an experience. And it's reminded me of that old adage, which an old boss of mine always used to say, and it's always stuck with me, that sometimes our greatest strength can be our greatest weakness. And for me, one of my greatest strengths has always been my enthusiasm, my ability to really get excited about an idea, transfer that enthusiasm onto other people, and be willing and able to lead people in the pursuit of that idea, even before it's been proven, right? So be able to kind of take that leap of faith when you need to get an idea off the ground, to get an idea moving before maybe the proof is there that the idea is going to work. The downside of that is that if you haven't really thought that idea through, if it is a bad idea, but you are simply leading people in that direction, you can be leading people in a bad direction. And that's not good leadership. That's simply being out in front and a lot of times just being enamored with your own voice, but it not really having a benefit for you, for a project, for other people. And I realized that with an idea that I was getting very excited about over the last couple of days, I was in danger of doing that. And fortunately, my constant just habit now of looking for obviously the self-awareness of when my pride or my humility are out of balance, and also looking for topics for this show each morning actually helped me recognize, hey, my pride's running rampant here. It's become hubris. It's become conceit, and I got to take a step back. And so I want to share that story with you real quick because maybe it's something you can relate with. Maybe it's something that can help you in a future situation. And instead of me giving myself real talk right now, I'm relaying a story of how I gave myself some real talk yesterday that helped me get past this. So I had this bolt of inspiration for this new idea, this new project. It was an online project, or it may still be an online project that I pursue. And had that bolt of inspiration, ran and got the domain name. A lot of you who create content online have probably been there. And based on previous experiences that I've had and some new trends that I've seen, I thought I had this perfect idea for how to attract audience attention for a new project, then how to monetize it. And I was ready to go. I mean, Heather and I on our Sunday morning walk, I broke the whole idea down to her. She's getting excited about it while also asking me some very important questions and helping me to, kind of make sure that my pride didn't go too crazy. And then I emailed a bunch of people that I've worked with before, got them all excited about it, started making plans. And before I know it, this project is almost ready to start after a couple of days. And I realized, and this is where the self-awareness of Primility came in, is I realized, okay, I got to remember I've been here before, been really excited about an idea, jumped in, not without thinking, but before really being ready. Maybe I should take a step back. Maybe I should do some research and see what else is out there. Maybe I should see if things have changed in the last 3 or 4 years. Maybe I should see if what I think are differentiators really are differentiators. And instead of it just being a notion in my head, a guess, maybe I should see if that actually matches up with reality. And as I started to do that, the next hour or so was rather sobering. But I needed it to be rather sobering because, again, my greatest strength was starting to run me off of a cliff, right? This cliff of capriciously trusting a hypothesis without taking a step back, being a little bit more methodical, and matching some real research, a real understanding of reality with this big grand vision in my head. And you need both. I'm not trying to say that this strength that I'm talking about is useless or not important. It absolutely is. And in so many ways in my life, it has really benefited me, I think, and helped me to benefit and influence other people in a positive way. But it's a double-edged sword, and it can definitely go the other way. And I was going down that road, and it was hubris. That's basically what it is hubris. Is I thought I knew. I thought that my past experiences were reflective of current realities. I thought whatever unknowns would come up, I could figure out. I had this great idea, and I was so caught up here that I wasn't thinking about, okay, I'm getting other people excited about this idea. How's this going to affect them? How, what else is going on out there? I have this great idea. What leads me to think that I'm so special that I've had these ideas and other people haven't? And so when I finally used humility to pull myself back from the brink of extreme hubris, that's when I started to get the dose of reality that I needed. And it's not that I realized that this idea wasn't valid, that it couldn't work, but a lot of my preconceived notions about it and a lot of what I was basing my enthusiasm on, frankly, just wasn't right anymore. A lot of things have changed in the last 3 or 4 years. A lot of people have had similar ideas to this. I'm not that special that I have these ideas that no one else has, right? And it took me stepping back, really doing the research to see it. And of course, then I swung in the other direction there for several hours where it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to do this idea anyway, because now it's not going to work. I don't have time to do it anyway. But I eventually kind of swung back to the middle. And this is the goal of Primility, right? This is balancing the pride and humility, not going to one extreme and then not swinging back to the other, finding that balance in the middle. And I realized there was another layer of humility there that I hadn't really tapped into yet, which is I was doing all of this, right? I had the idea at first. Now I'm swinging the pendulum back the other way with research and my own judgments of the research. Well, what about asking these guys who I had gotten so excited about that I emailed to see if they'd be interested in working on this project with me and going over different content they could write and what they could be in charge of? Why do I think that they wouldn't have good ideas or understand the big picture of this? Why am I doing it all up in my head? And so that's going to be the next step for me. And I guess if there is real talk here on a Tuesday, and again, Real Talk Tuesday, we try and take a goal that we want to achieve that we're not there yet and basically say, here's the next step to getting to that goal. So here's my Real Talk Tuesday in that sense, is that now that I have balanced out my enthusiasm from one extreme to the other, and I'm looking at this with much more clear vision, right? It's a good idea. It's got some validity, but it needs some work in terms of the plan, in terms of the strategy for how it will be able to get out there and actually have a chance to succeed. Don't think that I can figure all of this out or that I need to figure all this out. That is absolutely foolish. That's not real leadership. That's simply wanting to be out in front and getting carried away with the enthusiasm for an idea. Real leadership is taking in the opinions of everybody, helping to open up a dialogue, open up a conversation so that the power of the group and the bonus of multiple different perspectives can all coalesce. It's facilitating that, not dictating what happens. And again, I sometimes get caught up thinking that leadership means being the one in front of the room speaking or being the one who moves first. And those are certain actions that leaders will take, but they are not necessarily leadership. And as I was going about the very, very early stages of trying to lead this idea to fruition, I was not acting like a true leader, but rather someone who was just running rampant with hubris. And so I'm glad that I have this framework of Primility to help me in those moments and to help pull me back. Because again, adopting this Primility mindset doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you're devoid of the human emotions of pride and humility that grip us tightly all of the time. It just means that we get a little bit better, hopefully, every time at recognizing when we are in one of those moments, when we are too far to one side of the spectrum, and we have that self-awareness to pull ourselves back and then self-determine and make that next decision a positive one that sends us back in the right direction instead of the negative direction we've been going in. So that's my story for this Real Talk Tuesday. I would love to hear one from you. Remember, the goal of this Real Talk Tuesday is let's hold each other accountable. I try and hold myself accountable by bringing these here to you. I'd love for you to bring them to me, to the group. You can go to primility.com/show/021. That's the show notes for these page. You can leave a comment there. You can also go to primility.com/Facebook. We are slowly building up a little Facebook community, and this is a good place. It's a private community only for listeners of Primility, so you can only get it if you've listened to the show. But go there, request access. I will grant it to you, and you can participate in the conversations that we have about these. Last week, one of the members shared how he went from 420 pounds and lost about 150 pounds and how he did that. So there's real talk going on in there, an ability to hold each other accountable, to learn from the experiences of others. So I'd love to have you in there. Again, that's primility.com/show. Facebook, request access. I'd be happy to give it to you. All right, that concludes this episode of Real Talk Tuesday. I urge you all to stay cognizant of your pride and your humility as you go about today. And I will be back tomorrow morning, 6:30 Central Time, right here with another brand new episode of Primility Primer. Have a wonderful day. Wrist bump.